Happy Early Access Starfield launch day. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up, what up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, September 1st, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Starting off, like I said in the cold open, it is Starfield, the prince that was promised, Bethesda's newest IP in the last 25 years. The big open world action RPG that we've all been wanting for is finally here. Starfield is it's in early access. That's what I was alluding to at the beginning. So I think if you try to play it on Game Pass, there's like a $30 upcharge, or if you bought one of the premium editions, you get early access. But the game doesn't officially launch until next Tuesday. So you have to wait a little bit longer if you're just buying the basic edition, which is kind of what I'm waiting for. I can wait a weekend to play it on Xbox, but I am looking forward to playing it sometime soon. It's currently at an 88 Metacritic. The two lowest scores, I think this is kind of a little bit interesting. The two lowest scores, at least on the Metacritic, were IGN and GameSpot. So that was actually kind of interesting how a lot of other reviewers were kind of a little bit more positive. Those are IGN and GameSpot are usually seen at like the more positive reviewers, and they're also weighted the heavier. But I think the negatives were that like it might feel a little bit tread. You might have already felt like you've played this before. It sounds like the narrative may be a little shallow, even though there's a heavy emphasis on the exploration, which I think a lot of people are looking forward to. However, there's some limits to the exploration. Like some of the planets are going to be very barren. And Todd Howard's already said that like not every planet is Disney World. So take with that as you will. But I think anybody who's going to like exploration, anyone who loves any of the previous Bethesda games, sounds like they're going to love this. I'm going to play it as though it were Fallout in space, even though we've already had a Fallout in space in Outer Worlds. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it and seeing kind of how I can, what kind of explorer, what kind of astronaut I'll make, and what kind of exploration I can do with it. Although I can feel myself, because in a lot of Bethesda games, I get pulled into the side quest realm, and then I lose the golden path and never get back to it, and probably fall off the game. So I might be sticking pretty hard to that golden path. So at least that's how I'm going to play it when I pick it up next week. But if you are playing it, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Moving right along, there was another Nintendo Direct this week. This one was a little bit less of like a big showcase, and it was all focused on one game. And that game is Super Mario Brothers Wonder, the next 2D Super Mario game. They showed off a lot of cool features, a lot of, you can play as any character, and there's not really a lot of difference, which I thought was pretty cool. You can play as Peach and Mario, and you pretty much get the same experience. I also appreciated that they had like a kind of easy mode characters. I think Yoshi, like, you don't die from like falling into you don't die from like taking damage. You still die from like falling into pits and stuff. But I just thought it was a really cool kind of approach. They approached like kind of an accessibility thing. Like, you can, if you don't want to play it as a hardcore like 2D perfect timing platformer, you can just kind of leisurely play through the game, and it's not too punishing, which I thought was a cool approach. And there's power-ups and all that kind of stuff. Lots of different replay values as you kind of build up your arsenal, which I thought was cool. They also announced a new Mario Wonder Switch that was coming out. It's an all red, including the stand is all red OLED version of the Switch. So the more up to date version of the Switch, which I thought looked really cool, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about it. But all in all, the Direct was 15 minutes. 14 minutes of it was just talking about the new game, and then the last was all about the new Switch. But yeah, I got a kick out of it. I'm interested. The fact that it has multiplayer and like couch co-op makes it a lot more interesting for me, and potentially a game I could play with my wife, which I'm always looking for more games to play with her. Moving right along, Mortal Kombat 1 had its quote-unquote live-action trailer this week, and it featured two things that I know and love. It is Dave Bautista, which I'm slowly becoming my favorite wrestler turned actor. Um, you know, come at me, you rock stands. But the other thing that I really loved about the trailer was just people whispering to each other, "Mortal Kombat," and like that's all I kind of really want from a trailer. Is just a bunch of people walking around saying "Mortal Kombat" at each other, and that's what this one delivered on. So gotta love Dave Bautista running around and getting people hyped for Mortal Kombat. So looking forward to picking that up later this month, right? I think Mortal Kombat comes out later in just a couple weeks. So looking forward to that. I should have a whole section dedicated to according to NPD because you know, as a data guy, I've worked with their data before, and just they have a lot of really cool data. And the one thing that they announced this week was that the Switch has surpassed the Wii in U.S. sales. So you know, the Wii was quite a phenomenon. Took over the world. I think is the third most selling console of all time. And so the fact that the Switch is that's a worldwide stat. The fact that we're talking about just in the U.S. just domestically, but it has passed the Switch has passed the Wii and will probably continue to grow until they announce Switch 2 probably in the next year. But yeah, it's really cool to see that they've passed the Wii. The article also talked about closing in on the Xbox 360, just a few million units away from that. Which I could definitely see them doing, especially given the success of Tears of the Kingdom. And that also puts it, by my calculation, number 4, because I think it would be PS4, PS2, Xbox 360, and now Switch, and then Wii after that would be kind of rounding out the top 5. But you know, remains to be seen, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Switch continue to climb and sell. So looking forward to that. RoboCop, the video game, which you probably have forgotten about, but was intended to launch later this month, has actually been delayed to November. So getting past the October window, which is totally stuffed and full of games, they're waiting until early November, November 2nd, to launch the upcoming RoboCop game. So if you're looking to clean up the streets, bring justice to the streets of Detroit as RoboCop, you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. Suspiciously, the week before Starfield launches, the $1 deal for Xbox Game Pass. I think it's only for new people, but you only get like a month now. You used to get like 3 months. Now you only get a month. But that deal has gone kaput. There is no more $1 Game Pass deal, and that I assume is suspiciously close to Starfield launch. You know, this was supposed to be a big moment, and Xbox is trying to get as many people onto their platform as possible. So they've ended the Game Pass deal just in case, you know, they can't ride that wave. People can't get Starfield, their new big, you know, open world RPG that all the stuff I said earlier in this, people won't be able to get their hands on that for just $1. So yeah, unfortunately for those who haven't hopped onto the Game Pass bandwagon, you're gonna have to pay full price for admission. Moving right along, something I'm very excited about. They announced this week was a Borderlands collection. For just $60, you get all 3 of the mainline games, Borderlands 1, 2, and 3. You also get prequel, sequel, and you get Tales from the Borderlands 1, and you'll get Tales of the Borderlands 2 when it eventually launches. All of that for just $60. I think I read somewhere in the article that if you own some of the more recent games, it'll actually knock itself down to like $30. I don't know if that's like exclusively a Steam thing or how that would work on shelves, or if this is all digital anyway. But yeah, getting the entire Borderlands collection for $60 is quite a steal, because it is still one of my favorite gaming franchises. So yeah, very excited, really excited to see that. And if you can get it cheaper, I'll have to look into I'll have a link down below that you can check out the article yourself, but I believe there's a way you can get it cheaper if you like already own a couple of the Borderlands. So looking forward to Borderlands collection. If you're already gotten through Borderlands 3, congrats to you. That is a lot of game to have covered, but you still want to keep scratching that Baldur's Gate itch. The first 2 games are on sale for just $5. So I'll have a link down below for where you can pick that up. But if you want to go back and get reintroduced to some of the characters that you got introduced in this game, then you can go ahead and check out and pick up those Baldur's Gate, the previous 2 Baldur's Gates for just $5. I don't play a lot of League of Legends nowadays, but I still like to follow, keep up to date on like new characters coming out. I just like watching the character promos and all that kind of stuff. They have a new character which should be right up my alley. It's an escaped vampire named Briar, and they had like a 90-second kind of character trailer showing off pretty cool art style, but showing off this new character. So yeah, I'm always down to play vampires in most of my games. So excited to see a new League of Legends character who is a vampire. I'm curious. I'm wondering if it's like a jungle versus like a a damage. If it's a bottom laner, damage dealer. So yeah, very curious where this will land. I'd be interested to see what the character spotlight looks like. But excited for a new character coming to League of Legends. What's the roster on League up to? Probably they're over 100 now, right? I'll have to double check on that. Last but not least, that Hellboy stylized roguelike that you remember from the last 2 E3s, I think, featuring the voice of rest in peace Lance Reddick as Hellboy, has finally announced a launch date. Speaking of October, which is fully packed, Hellboy doesn't care, as is Hellboy's right, and they've announced that their launch date will be October 4th. So starting off the laundry list of games that are coming out in October will probably be Hellboy. So if you want to play a stylized roguelike, if you want to hear Lance Reddick's voice for a little, one last time, rest in peace, be sure to check out Hellboy coming later this year. What's the tag? What's the colon? What's the secondary name of it? It's like Web of the Weird or something like that. Yeah, I think it looks cool. And I'm very excited to potentially pick that up in October. That's all for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, please follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye.